YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Look at Chick Smooth. Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy BREAD Fox reporting from the Chicks universe, and there has been some updates that have come in about the Tory Lanez stabbing. Now, for those of you who may not have heard, yesterday, unfortunately, Tory Lanez was actually stabbed 14 times in numerous places, including his back, his torso, his cheek, and his head. Yes, his head. I don't think I've ever heard of somebody being stabbed in the head. You have to really, really hate somebody or be an extremely violent person to do such a thing. Now, as to why he was stabbed, the details are still really pretty much unclear. There's been a bunch of speculation going around, but before we get into that, let's get into the facts. Now, the facts of the matter is the person who stabbed Tory Lanez has been confirmed as this individual here. The individual's name is Santino Casillo. Already sounds like a scary guy. Well, this guy is actually 42 years of age and he's already serving a life sentence in prison. But that life sentence was with the possibility of parole, but I'm pretty sure, judging by what he just did, that option's pretty much gonna get taken off of the table. He's more than likely gonna get hit with an attempted murder charge, being as though he did stab Tory Lanez 14 times. Twice in the head. This is what the Post is actually reporting on the situation. The inmate who allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez in prison this week has been identified as Santino Casillo, and he's already serving life in prison with the possibility of parole. The Post has confirmed. A representative from the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation told the Post that Casillo, 42, is being investigated for allegedly attacking the rapper at a housing unit in the California Correctional Institution on Monday, May 12th at approximately 7:20 a.m. Pacific time. That's crazy. My boy really put his clothes out like he's going to school on the first day, and he put his knife right next to it and said, man, I'm going to get this dude first thing in the morning. Imagine you getting up. You know how you got that hunger in you, like, damn, I can't wait to get something to eat. And a motherfucker just start poking you up. That's crazy. Lock this dude up in solitary confinement. I don't want to see him next to anybody. Put him in bubble wrap. Put him in the little things where they tie you up. You can't even move your arms. Man, while you at it, tie up his toes. There shouldn't be any wiggle room. Literally. But let's continue. Casillo's rap sheet is a mile long and dates back to 2004, when he was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon, and inflict great bodily injury, per the CDCR. Now, just to give a little bit of background as to this individual, there's a lot that's coming up about him, and it turns out this guy is already serving a life sentence, as we said, and it's because he was actually accused of a second-degree murder. Now, I was able to dig up the details of what happened in that situation, not the Tory situation, in the situation of which he's currently serving that life sentence, because I was a little intrigued. It's not every day that you see somebody serve a life sentence for a second-degree murder. So, as a warning to people out there who may have like a queasy stomach, if you have a queasy stomach, it's probably best that you fast forward through this part, because I'm going to go into details of exactly what happened. Now, it turns out that this guy, Casillo, actually murdered his 13-year-old girlfriend while he was 22. Now, it's not even bad enough that he murdered somebody. He actually murdered a 13-year-old. And he's actually dating a 13-year-old at 22. That's a 9-year difference. Absolutely disgusting. And he actually went on to murder her. The way that he murdered her, it's a little bit graphic, right? I'm going to actually read the police report from when he murdered that 13-year-old girl. Two relatives heard 22-year-old Santino Sonny Casillo arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend minutes before she was shot in the face with a shotgun. They testified at Casillo's trial Wednesday. Casillo is facing murder charges for the death of his girlfriend, along with the special allegation that the crime was committed with a firearm. He is also accused of 2 separate attempted murders with the special allegation of using a knife and causing great bodily harm. Now I'm going to stop right there just to let you guys know. It looks like the person who did this thing to Tory Lanez, I'm not even trying to be funny, was an absolute professional. Like I said, I never heard of somebody stabbing somebody in the head. You have to be an extremely violent person to do something like that. Ruby Perez, whoa, Perez, interesting. Ruby Perez, Perez, that's really interesting. Casillo's cousin, Ruby Perez, Casillo's cousin. Interesting. Lived with the defendant and his 13-year-old girlfriend, Evelyn Brenda Candejas, in Perez's apartment in the 1100 block of East Avenue H14. Perez was getting ready to go out with her friend, Elaine Gonzalez, who also is related to Casillo. So Perez is related to Casillo. Interesting. About 10 p.m. June 8th, 2002, when they heard Casillo and Candejas fighting and Perez saw Candejas crying, she testified. Gonzalez and Perez went outside so that Perez could smoke. Minutes later, they heard a shotgun blast, Perez said. Within seconds of the shot, Perez and Gonzalez testified they saw Casillo running from the house. I met Sonny Casillo at the door, Gonzalez said. He just looked really pale and shocked and scared and said, I've got to get out of here. He looked like a zombie, Perez said. Minutes into testimony Wednesday, Candejas' mother went from quiet tears to loud sobs, and court was recessed briefly. Man, so as you can see, this was like a very, very violent person. Through the fire. There's a lot to take from that, right? Of course, like I said, there was a lot of speculation as to what was going on and why this happened, right? At first, people were saying that this was retaliation for dissing Kendrick. Absolutely false. Of course, whenever something salacious happens, people are going to use that as an opportunity to get clickbait. Then people started coming out and saying, hey, it was the Mexicans who did this and it was retaliation for a gambling debt. And then that was kind of sort of cleared up, but it turned out it was a Mexican that did this. And then Whack 100 actually came out with some audio confirming the incident and saying that it was not because of a gambling debt, but it may have been because of something completely different. So one thing that I would say, and I've always found crazy, is like there needs to be a jail for people who are extremely violent and normal people. People who do these heinous, extremely violent crimes should not be paired together with normal civilians. And when I say normal, I mean, like, don't get it twisted. If you closed your eyes and shot somebody, that's not the same as stabbing somebody in the head. Bro, people like that, they need to be in their own. They don't even need to be around people like themselves. They need to be in their own solitary confinement. Like, they have their own cage, they have their own playground, they have their own cafeteria. Everything. In fact, you don't even send them to the nurse if they get hurt. You give them the tools and they fix themselves. You give them a YouTube video, they figure out how to do it. If they can't figure out how to do it, oh well. Now, a lot of people, when they hear that word foul play, of course it means intentional bodily harm, intentional trying to kill, of course. But some other people may decipher that as, hey, somebody put a ticket on his head. A lot of people are speculating that he has some type of ticket on his head for some reason, whatever the case may be. A lot of people feel as though it's because he's innocent and he's about to prove his innocence. And a lot of people might lose a lot of money if he is able to do that. Here's a clip of Tory Lanez actually speaking about a breakthrough that he's apparently about to have in the case.
4 contributors on this suspected gun. 90% contributor on this gun is a male. And the rest of the percentages of this gun are 2 females and another male. None of those 4 people are my DNA. So I am 100% excluded, not inconclusive like they said when I was in trial. I'm 100% excluded from this gun when it comes to DNA. My fingerprints are 100% excluded from the magazine, from the gun, from the bullets, from anything that has to do with this gun. Cedar-Sinai Hospital, with the help of LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, for those who don't understand the abbreviation. Together, they have put on my discovery that we have lost the bullet fragments. Well, if you lost the bullet fragments, then you can't even attach this gun to the alleged bullets that allegedly hit the victim in LA County. So we can never ever grab the gun and do any retesting. The LAPD made sure to seal the gun so that there would be no retesting on this gun. When we went into court and we put these things in and said, hey, like, we're factually innocent due to these facts, the court said, you know what? We're going to consider that because there's good reason appearing on what you're saying. My judge, Judge Harringford, Judge David B. Harringford, I watched this man literally look at me and say, so let's just say I'll take the DNA evidence to be real, and I'll say that it's true. He said this on record, by the way, it's in my transcripts. He says, I'll take the DNA evidence to be true, but I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, even if I take it to be true, that's not a big factor in his case. That's not why he got convicted. Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? My nigga,
the whole thing.
What the fuck is you talking about, my nigga? Because that's the whole case.
Now, it's always been a split thing of people wondering whether or not Tory Lanez is innocent. A lot of people are saying that he's guilty. A lot of people are saying that he's innocent. At the same time, what do you guys think? Do you think some type of conspiracy theory is going on and this is why Tory Lanez was attacked? Do you think that somebody actually really put a hit on him? Do you think that Tory Lanez is actually innocent? Or do you think that he's guilty and getting everything that he deserves? Drop some knowledge in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's your boy BREAD Fox reporting from the Chicks Universe. Till next time.